organizing, that's all.
Oh, I can help with that!
Are you sure you want to?
Yeah, I'm good with boring stuff.
Hello y'all, this is the Ninja DC. Upon listening to fan feedback, yes I do read most comments, I've decided to resurrect my FIM-adation series, and recommend some great animations specifically tailored towards bronies. And why not start with the series I have been an ongoing fan of since the anime's beginning, Fairy Tail, if you have not noticed from all my frequent references on this channel. Or as I like to call it, Friendship is Magic of Japan. Fairy Tail is a series whose manga was originally published in 2006 by Hiro Mashima. Hiro was already a successful mangaka, responsible for Raid Master and Monster Hunter's manga. It's worth noting he has no formal training when he started working professionally as a mangaka at age 21. The series follows Lucy Heartfield, Nato Dragneel, and Happy on their adventures through the magical land of Fior as wizards of Fairy Tail, a magic guild infamous for its habit of breaking things. And by things I mean towns.
That was amazing! But he overdid it! Oh, shut it, cat!
One reason I particularly recommend this series to my loyal viewers is, like me, most of you are bronies, and the series is extremely similar to MLP. I mean disturbingly similar. Starting with the series protagonist Lucy, who is a female wizard, and the smart one of her group, who loves to read books and dreams of becoming an author one day. She is also into astronomy, which makes sense as her magic is celestial spirit summoning. Speaking of her magic, it also gets stronger with the bonds or friendships she forms with her spirits. That's part of the canon. The story begins with her traveling to a new city and making friends at Fairy Tail, where she serves as a catalyst to bring members closer together.
What's the point of having magic power if you can't use it to save the people you care about?
Speaking of her friend, she has the hothead Natsu.
Wow, Flame Empress armor, huh? Good news for me. That means I can turn up the heat as high as I want to.
His hatched from an egg, not pet sidekick, Happy. The adorable shy Wendy, and her formal Exceed, Carla.
You'll never gain their respect if you can't show confidence, child. I'm sorry, Carla. I swear you'll drive me to catnip. I can't help it.
The orphan and dependable Gray, and his bipolar zany love interest, Juvia.
Will you make my lunch every day?
Yes, and we'll have 33 babies! I'm so happy I can cry!
And Erza, codenamed Titania for Queen of the Fairies, who has a sweet tooth and is troubled by a relationship with her childhood friend who has been corrupted by darkness.
He made me drop my strawberry cake!
I could go on and on all day with these parallels, including but not limited to foreign potion master living in a tree, a magic friendship tree, not related to that tree, a crystal tower built by slave labor intended to resurrect a dark wizard spirit, frequent fan service, high school spin-off video, and a creator's heavy interaction with fans via Twitter. Again, I could go on, and that's not even getting into the most recent arc, which just so happened to have villains from Tartarus trying to wipe out all magic within Fior. Again, I could go on and on all day with just this part alone. But moving on.
Fairy Tail is kind of like my family.
Very nice place you have.
They left the shop without asking first! Why are you here?
A lot of these similarities are due to the similar setting, which is sort of a pre-industrial age fantasy world that sort of has a very fairy tale tone. No pun intended. Well, I guess pun intended by Hiro. With some modern flair thrown in there, and the series' lighthearted tone, which is very heavy friendship themed. Essentially, it's a world where anything can happen without many batting an eye.
Special attack!
Yeah, kitty face.
And as Hiro is an avid gamer, lots of video game themes are also thrown into the fairy tale themes and everything else. What this translates to is a lot of MLP's strengths applied to Fairy Tail. Most notably, friendships, relationships, and character interactions are really what define the series. Fairy Tail, the Guild, is a surrogate family for its members, and Makarov, the Guild Master, sees its members as his children. This core aspect is what adds to Fairy Tail's heart, and helps define it from other shonen series that focus disproportionately on action and fights. Even many side characters get at least one great moment to shine. For example, Fairy Tail's waitress Kiniana, I'm butchering that name I just know, has a tragic past involving a curse and a connection to one of Fairy Tail's most recognizable villains, and she essentially just is a background character. Or, for another example, Fairy Tail's resident drunk Kana, who plays a pivotal role in a main arc that involves her father issues. As you can see in the pattern above, interaction and emotional developments in Fairy Tail take about as much time as the fights, though I suppose this is in part because its fights are rather short and that they are not that drawn out, which ties into Fairy Tail's pace. Fairy Tail's obscenely fast pace is another benefit, with most anime arcs being around 25 episodes, or about 50 chapters in a manga if you convert it. More stuff tends to happen in Fairy Tail each chapter or episode than other shonen series like Bleach or Naruto. On top of this, its creator Hiro is known to spontaneously release extra long chapters, double releases, and even triple releases while currently writing a monthly Fairy Tail series, amongst other things. Or to summarize, don't worry about Dragon Ball Z style 4 episodes just to power up. Heck, my quote about Fairy Tail's pace is that it can introduce a villain, have their backstory, their fight, and their defeat all within one manga chapter. That is not an exaggeration. Another thing I love about Fairy Tail is its not very serious tone. Comedy is present just as much as action from episode 1 to 200 plus. That's not to say Fairy Tail can't get serious or deliver a tearjerker when needed. Fairy Tail episode 200 is a great example of this. Where most series would celebrate going 200 with action or gags, Fairy Tail in contrast had a very slow, subtle, but emotional episode. Fairy Tail is sort of able to pull off these wide emotional tonal changes, as even the happy characters have elements of tragedy in their character. The comedy and shenanigans of the main cast interacting as a family is sort of like their way to cope with said tragedies. The best way I have to summarize Fairy Tail's good qualities is a quote I remember from a forum post. What I love about Fairy Tail is I can simply rely on it to put a smile on my face every week, one way or another. And that pretty much sums up Fairy Tail very well.
Wrote a tune I call Best Friend. Would you like to hear it? Well, here it goes.
On the production end, Fairy Tail continues its similarities with MLP by being known for its music, well specifically its scores, which are well renowned for a shonen series, and the only anime soundtrack I can say I've ever downloaded. Actually, I've downloaded several Fairy Tail tracks. Just listen to this main theme that has been frequently covered by fans. That said, Fairy Tail is not for everyone. While Fairy Tail tends to excel in aspects other shonen series tend to fail at, like character interaction, shipping, and female characters that are meaningful to the story, it tends to fall short on the regular typical shonen elements. For instance, remember how I mentioned the fights were short? Well, that often translates into rushed battles. You all know about anime training arcs, right? Where after being curb stomped, our anime leads train a new ability they use to get the upper hand in round 2? Yeah, don't expect them in Fairy Tail. The closest we get is a less than half dozen chapter parody of training arcs, at least I think it's a parody, where a power up is just sort of given at the end. Tournament arcs? Yeah, Fairy Tail's Magic Game arc is easily the least popular arc in the series, once again providing another parallel to MLP. And if you expect Fairy Tail to change or mature up in tone like Bleach or Naruto attempted to, you're going to be disappointed, as the core tone from episode 1 is the core tone from episode 200 plus. My point is, if you go in expecting the standard shonen formula with an interest in only external conflict, you will likely be disappointed with Fairy Tail. See, Fairy Tail is a sort of series that revolves around the power of friendship, or nakama as it is known within anime. Most end fights revolve around finding the resolve to defeat the enemy through the bonds of friendship. You know, protecting your friends gives you strength and so on and so forth. As I said, Fairy Tail is a family for its members, and while they are rather carefree, if you hurt their members, they will destroy you.
I can take our headquarters being reduced to rubble, but I will not let harm come to my children without taking revenge!
If you need another reason to give Fairy Tail a try, let me just say this. In 2009, Fairy Tail was a shonen series that renewed my faith with the genre. I had sworn not to pick up another long ongoing manga series while at the low points of Naruto and Bleach. For reference, Butterfly Aizen. After watching under 20 episodes of the series on Crunchyroll, halfway into the series' first true arc, I broke that vow, and proceeded to go headlong into the manga. Fairy Tail was a series that renewed my faith in shonen series as a whole, and really kept up my interest in anime period. What more can I say? Well, Lucy, take it away from me.
I don't want to leave. I want to stay with you guys. Because I love being in Fairy Tail.
This is the Ninja DC. Keep calm and an open mind. Hey, didn't I mention that Fairy Tail, at least large chunks of it, are free? Yeah, the anime is on Crunchyroll, Hulu, Funimation, and Netflix, amongst others. The manga's most current chapters is also available for free on Crunchyroll. So yeah, no excuses, give the series a shot. I recommend the dub, mostly for its humor, which is greatly translated.
It's raining masked men!
I'd say hallelujah, but they don't look friendly.
Though the sub is equally as good in how I originally got hooked on the series. Choice is yours.
How are my spines? Are they straight?